Welcome to Jim's Code Corner. My name is Jim Belcher, and today we're going to continue working on our to-do list. Um, we are reaching the last task of our MVP product, which is going to be a nice little CRUD application. If you actually look at my task list here in Trello, you'll see I've added a few more tasks. We'll talk about those more when we get to our next task here. Right now, we're going to be working on a user can update a to-do item. So let's go through the scenario, the user story. As a user, I want to update a task so that I may make changes to a task. Simple enough. Acceptance criteria. Given a to-do list has task, when a task is clicked, then the task description is displayed in the description field, and the Add Task button changes to Update Task. Given the task has been loaded for updating, when the Update Task button is clicked, then the task is updated on the to-do list, and the Update Task button changes to Add Task, and the description field is focused. Okay, so today we're going to be working on the UI portion of that. So let's go ahead and move our task into progress. And we'll switch over to Spring Tool Suite here. So we're going to be creating a new endpoint. Essentially, the flow here for the API is going to be, we're going to create a controller. The controller is going to be calling a service. Nothing new there. In that service, what it's going to do is first going to take the ID that's fed in through the controller, and it's going to get back a object back from our database. Then we are going to go ahead and update the description of that object, and then we'll save it. So it's going to be very similar to creating a new to-do item, except we're just going to, instead of creating a new one, we're going to be pulling one from the database and then just updating it. So let's go ahead and get started on the controller portion of that. We'll start by creating the unit test. So we'll say test public void test update should return updated object. Say to-do item. I won't be guessing what that means. Okay, and I just got a new Mac here, and so the formatting, I just installed STS here right before the video. Looks like my formatting is a little weird here, so I'll fix that up later. I'll install a formatter. Okay, so let's fix that. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to need an ID that we're going to be feeding into this controller. So let's do final long ID to update equals, my favorite number here, 42. Okay, so what we're going to do, what's going to happen when the service calls this update function we're going to create? Well, it's going to return an object. So what we'll do is say when sorry, lost my train of thought there. To do item service that update, and we're also going to have a to do item in our request here. So to do item request, so we'll have to create one of those objects. Then we'll return a to do item response, which is essentially going to be the same object just with a different description. And we'll assert that subject dot update to do item, the to do item request. Once again, it's information we're putting in. Dot get ID will be equal to 42. And I'm just going to copy this guy. Except we'll say get, I believe it's description, if I'm not mistaken. Description. and we'll say that will be equal to updated description. Let's save that off. So we got some couple objects here to create. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy these guys here. So I'm going to change that to 42. And this is where I really should refactor these tests because I'm creating objects all over the place and it's not very clean. To do item, but I know what's coming up in the next future stories here, so we're going to be doing a lot of refactoring. So I'm not too concerned about it right at this moment. So the response is going to be updated description. And that'll handle that. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and copy these. Yeah, copy and paste. That's a red flag right there that this thing's be refactored. Request. And we'll set the ID to still 42. But instead of being updated description, we'll call it this. We'll say it's old description. Save that off. Of course, these things are happy because they don't exist yet. Let's first make this guy happy. We'll go to the interface and we'll add this guy in. I believe it is right here. I called it update. So public void update. It's going to take in two things. It's going to take in a long to do item ID, and it's also going to take in a to do item. To do time. That's obviously wrong. Okay. So, yep. There we go. Okay, so why is this not happy? To do item is in the type. Should not go for arguments to do item. Let's try actually getting that stub in there. Maybe that's what the issue is. Kind of makes sense. Interesting. Okay, well, I'll worry about that in a second. Let's go ahead and go to the controller. We'll make this, I'll spell that correctly. And we will go ahead and make the stuff for this guy. And I'm just going to do public to do item update. I think I know what the problem was now with that thing. And we're going to need a long to do item ID. And we're also going to take in a to do item to do item. Return null. That's fine. Okay, and we'll see that some of these errors, I think I got these two swapped, that's what the problem is, I think. Subject is the controller, and really, this shouldn't be update to do item here, this should be update, and update, and the service, you can call that update too, honestly. Not really a big deal. But nobody's happy. The method, long term, to item, and type controller, oh, I moved, is not applicable for arguments to do item. Well, of course not. That makes sense. So I am running a test. I'm calling my function twice here. And that's obviously not a great choice. So let's go ahead and let's do this. Do a little refactoring here. Say to do item response equals that guy, just like that. And then we'll just say response. So I didn't fix my error, but it's definitely a good fix. Something we definitely should do. Response. There we go. And figure out why it's saying happy. The method long to do item is in the type to do item controller. It's not go for arguments to do item. So I'm feeding in this guy here, but it's expecting two things. It's expecting, say 42 long. Okay, and probably I'm assuming probably the same for this. Yeah, 42 long. There we go. And we'll do an import of our Makito. Try that again. Makito. I really don't want that import. Weird thing is it should be already imported. So when this thing, what's the problem here? Save. All right, I'm going to pause the video so I can make Spring here happy, I think. Give it another second. See if I can't look it over real quick and see if I can't scan. Makito mock. Check mock. Everything seems to be in order there. Besides, thank you again, error, for doing the same thing up here. The method in type Makito is not cool for arguments void. So it's saying that my update function is returning a void. And that's what I have it doing. I don't want that to do item. That's what I want, which is going to break this. To do item, which is going to now make that unhappy. Return null. Which should make that happy, which should make this happy, which makes everybody happy. Yay, everyone's happy. Okay, cool. So next we're going to go ahead and run our unit tests as we should. And we will get a failure. And we do. Get a null pointer exception because we ain't doing anything yet. So let's go ahead and satisfy that test and we'll move on. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to finish stubbing this guy out. Oh, I did a very, very basics. So I want a request mapping. And I want a value equal to /id, same as the delete. The difference being method this time will equal request method dot put. Put is for updates. Next thing we're gonna need, we're gonna actually have to get that. We're gonna have this thing be a response body for the to item there. And we need a path variable for ID, so I'm going to steal this guy. Just like save a little bit of typing here. To do item, that's fine. But we do need a request body on this. Request body. Okay, I think that's all we need there. So all we're going to do here is we're just going to do to do item service dot update, and we'll feed into to do item and to do item. All right, perfect. We'll rerun our test. Everyone's happy. I'm happy. So we can move on to the service now. Excellent. Go ahead and close my controller out. I don't need that stuff anymore. I don't need my interface anymore. I can close that out. Next thing we're going to do is tackle running the test for the service. And as I mentioned, we're going to get an object back. We're going to query based on an ID. We're going to get an object back, and then we're going to set a variable or set the description and save. So this one's going to be a little bit more involved than most of our services we've done so far. Still not difficult by any means, but a little bit more involved. So public void test should return updated to do item. All right, so first thing we're going to do, I'm going to do that. And let's think about what we're going to do. First of all, we're going to take in some items. We're going to take a couple things in. we're going to take an ID. So let's go ahead and first create that guy along uh, ID to update equals 42 long. We're also going to take a to do item to update. So let's go ahead and create a new to do item. Final to do item to update equals a new to do item. And I'm just going to go ahead and steal a couple things from up here. That's fine, and we'll change that to 42. And we'll change the name of the variable, of course. All right, so that's happy. So we have an object we can feed in. We have an ID. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a find. So we're going to need a to-do item that was found. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm actually going to use this to-do item to update because it's going to be the exact same thing in this case. If I didn't have an ID here, I would definitely wanted to return it, but my test. But you'll see how this works in just a moment here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a to-do item service or repository, except it's going to be a mock, when to-do item repository dot find one. That's going to take in the ID to update dot then return. And we're just going to say the to-do item to update. It's actually going to return that same guy, which is fine in this case. So we now will have the item that we're going to be updating. So the next thing we're going to need to do is actually update that, and we'll do that within the class. So what we'll do now is we need to do a do nothing, because when we save, well, nope, I'm mistaken. We don't do a do nothing. We need to mock out the save to do item repository dot save to do item to update. We will then have that return to do item to update. Actually, no, I'm mistaken that. It's not going to be the do item to update. It's not going to return that. It's going to be a different. Have a may have a little bumble here. Let's see. Let's see. Old to do item. Okay, and I am old. Certainly am. Okay. So the old one is going to be the one that's actually returned from what was found. Okay, and now this new one, we'll say we called it to update. We'll refactor this to be new to do item. All right. So we do a find. We're going to get the old one. We're going to use this new one that's actually going to be fed in to the function to actually do the updating. So it'll have the same method signature as this old, or object signature, excuse me. Wow. So we are going to then, when we say save this guy, we want to actually return this guy, because it's going to have a new object signature. Okay. I believe that's correct. Yes, that makes sense. Okay. Now we can actually do a couple verifications on this thing to make sure it's returning the right stuff. So first I will do a to-do item response equals subject dot update. Yep. So we'll put this ID to update, and we'll put this is what's going to be fed in. And now we could do a couple assertions on this. Assert that response dot get description will be equal to, and we'll say I am a to-do list item, because that's what's going to be the new one. And then we'll also assert that response.getID, and this should not change because we're just doing an update. We're not creating a new object. To item should be 42 long. Okay, that should be our unit test. And if this doesn't really make clear sense yet, you'll see how it makes sense once you actually write the code, which would be a really short code. And that's kind of interesting that it's actually passed its test since didn't write any code for it yet. And actually, I do know why. It's kind of silly. So we are feeding in the new to-do item. Actually, no, it doesn't make sense because this is returning null. Okay. Response. For asserting that. Do you have 4 test, right? Yeah. Okay. Update. We're feeding in the ID and an object. We're actually calling it here, so subject update. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause my video and. Alright, folks. Not quite sure what the issue really was. I just ran the test again and it came as a fail, as it should. So, okay, I guess we'll just continue on. We are getting null pointer exception, which is what I expect, just because we haven't actually got an object here. So, okay, let's go into the implementation. We'll implement this guy. So this will be pretty easy, since some of the work is actually already done for us. What we'll do is, first thing we gotta do is, as I mentioned, we gotta first get the object. So what we'll do is we'll say to do item item to do item to update will equal the to do item repository dot find one, and we'll say the to do item ID. Okay, so now we have one. And once again, I should be doing some null checks here and doing other things. I'm not going to do that in this case because I'm going to be refactoring pretty much all this stuff anyway. So this is just MVP, understanding like the whole crud. We're not doing much error handling here. So anyway, we got the item. So now we're going to set the description. So we'll do to do item to update dot set description, and we'll take that to do item that we fed in dot get description. So we're going to get it out of here and put it into here, and then we're going to save it. So we should be able to do item repository dot save. Actually, here's a fun one. We don't have to do that. We could just do this dot save, and we'll feed in that guy because it's going to do the exact same thing. So no reason not to do that. And we'll just put a return statement in front of that, and that should do it. Okay. If I run my test again, we are green. This application should be doing what we want to do right now. So let's go ahead and run it with Postman and check it out. Well, before I do it with Postman, I actually got to turn start the application. So back to my terminal. Gradle, boot run. I'm just going to do this. Gradle check. We'll do test. Check will actually include integration test, but I don't have any. So Gradle test, boot, run. Just make sure all our unit tests pass when we do something like this. So while this is testing and going to be running, thank you guys for watching these videos and subscribing. It's been great so far. Please don't forget to, if you haven't subscribed already, to subscribe, like my videos. Please feel free to share those. And please leave me comments on suggestions of things you want to see. I have, in the past now, I've done some videos based on what people have suggested. I've built out my Trello backlog based on some suggestions I got in my email. So please keep those things coming. Thank you. Moving on, let's go back to Postman. Yes, Postman. And this is old. This won't actually exist. If I go to find all, I run that guy. Yeah, it'll be empty. So let's go ahead and save a couple. We'll change this body to 1. This 1 to 2. Yeah, let's create one more to 3. Okay, now we'll do the find all once again. We should have 3 items here. And I always like to test or change number 2. I don't know why, it's just a little habit of mine. So we'll go here, we'll change number 2. I had that there. And we'll change the description to updated description. We'll see that if I went back here, we'll see the description was, this is test number 2. Once I do the update, the description should be updated description. So I'm going to go ahead and call this guy. And I got it returned the object as we expected, this updated description. If I do the find all, we're going to see that now the second one here is updated description. So that's work as we planned. Okay, cool. So next time we're going to do the UI portion of this, and it will be the, that's kind of weird. That's not quite right. Yeah, it'll be the UI portion of that. Oh, that's view list. I don't know why that one's standing up. Bring that up. Mark this as make a checklist. Anyway, so sorry. This will be the last task for our MVP. And that will be, I suppose, phase 1 of this. Preview of things to come, I suppose. In a couple weeks, we're going to be working on setting up Liquibase and CI, because we're going to be preparing to actually refactor this application, as I mentioned several times in this video. We're going to make it a multi-tenant application. So a person will be, multiple people will be able to log in. They'll have their own to-do lists. And people will be able to manage like their account. They'll be able to change their password. Only see their to-do list items, log out, all the fun things that you have to do with a multi-tenant application. And the idea also would be eventually to make a video where I actually do a very simple setup with a server and we actually deploy this thing to a server. So all that's coming up in the future. Don't forget to, like I said, subscribe and comment. Thank you guys very much, and have a good holiday.